Good afternoon. Welcome to Mike and the Hoss Super Bowl preview on Wolfeboro Community Television. I'm Mike Dene.
And I'm Charlie Hossack.
Ready to get started, Charlie?
I'm ready, Mike.
All right, so today is our Super Bowl preview, so we're going to be real quick on our Kingswood sports, and then we're going to hit the Super Bowl as quickly as we can. So, not a real good week for the Knights. The hockey team was 0-2 this week, playing the first-place team and the third-place team. Overtime loss last night down at the St. A's Arena. Good game. Sometimes there's good losses, and I think that was one of them.
Sure. That proves that they belong there, and they can, like we said before, they can compete for a championship.
Yep, definitely. The girls were also 0-2 this week.
They were.
They had some tough losses against Concord and Pinkerton, who are, it's a pretty tough to compete against them.
Yeah, really talented. I mean, we're playing a school that's, twice, if not three times the size of Kingswood, and a lot of talented athletes. Once again, though, the girls, struggle in the first period, which they seem to do, and then they kind of get it together, and they're able to come out in second and third period and play a much better game. So it's just they're starting to come together. So it'll be exciting to see as we move through the next few weeks. They'll get some opponents that they're going to have maybe be able to play a little bit more competitive.
And hopefully they can build on that.
Definitely.
Basketball team also struggled a little bit. They only played one game. They had a loss to Co-Brown. Notes that I have, it was a good game by Brogan Shannon. Scored in the 20s, and he's been pretty consistent for them. And the girls had two losses this week to Timberland and Co-Brown. Now, we had said last week that we were going to give a couple shout-outs to the track team, the indoor track team. They have their state meet this Sunday during the Super Bowl.
Oh, during the Super Bowl?
During the Super Bowl.
So, that's not very good planning.
No, but
especially for New England.
Yeah, but these are the boys that are participating. Devin Wade is in the long jump in the 55-meter. Brent Coop is the 600-meter.
Nice.
Jack Dale's in the high jump. Ryan Russo shot put. Cam Mann in the shot put. And the 4x200, which I think you had mentioned, was going for a state record.
That's what that's what they've been talking about.
Devin Wade, Ben Goslin, Brent Coop, and Drew Reuter.
All right.
The girls, Sarah Huckman, 55-meter hurdles and 600-meter run. Caitlin Carpenter, 55-meter dash and the long jump. Rosemary Carpenter, 600-meter. And then they have a 4x400-meter relay with Sarah Carpenter, Rosemary Carpenter, Sarah Huckman, and Carolyn Day. And a 4x200-meter relay with Elizabeth Morrison, Eliza Tibbetts, Amelia Gallimberti, and Caitlin Carpenter. So I guess best of luck to the
best of luck. Go Knights, team. And hopefully we'll I'm looking forward to seeing if we can set some records.
No kidding.
That's great. Hey, it's Super Bowl preview, Mike. This is the episode we've been waiting for. I can't wait. 72 hours from now, we're going to be playing. Well, we're not
screaming at our televisions.
Yeah, we're not going to be playing, but we're going to be screaming at our televisions and getting really excited and amped up for Patriots versus Rams. So let's talk a few of the storylines. A
few of them. There's a lot of them.
There's a lot going on. I noticed if I do want to start, I noticed that you did not bring a sombrero.
I did not.
To this no, so that. Yeah, we'll talk about Gronk in a little bit, won't we? Yes.
Gronk is down the line. I think we said we're going to open with...
Let's talk about the coaching staff.
Yeah, we'll start there.
So you got Sean McVay, and you have, of course, Bill Belichick. Sean McVay, youngest coach in the NFL, just turned 33. And Bill, although he's not the oldest coach, he's the longest tenured coach as far as a team. So what are your thoughts? I mean, you heard probably a little bit about... They are texting buddies, which is kind of cool.
That was news this week, and I don't think it's news that Belichick wanted to get out.
Yeah.
And McVay had said earlier this week that Bill sends him text every week, just kind of supportive text, doing a great job.
Yeah.
Which is kind of neat, but Bill plays things close to the vest, and I don't think he really wanted that out there.
So do you think is Bill a mentor for Sean?
I think you'd almost kind of have to call him that, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it's interesting. So now you have mentor versus mentee, and.
Yep.
See what's going to happen. I mean, obviously Belichick's been around so much that he's got so many coaches in the NFL.
Do you think the experience factor is going to be a difference for this game?
I do. I mean, looking at some of the stuff this week with media day and seeing some of the Rams being interviewed, they're caught in the limelight and they're excited, and I think it's challenging for them because they're at the Super Bowl. They've never been there before. I mean, at least the players that we're talking about.
Yep.
They're young, and are they going to be overwhelmed by all the excitement leading up to it? Where I know the Patriots have obviously been there. Plus, Bill Belichick is obviously making sure the team is ready and prepared, so it's not just fun and games.
I would agree with everything you're saying, except that I felt the same way last year against the Eagles.
Ah, boy. I don't know if I want to talk about last year, but,
Well,
but it's true, right? Going in.
So,
Yeah.
you know, the Eagles didn't have the experience that
Right.
the Patriots had.
Yep.
Um,
Backup quarterback.
Second-year coach,
Yep.
backup quarterback.
Yep.
They had some injuries.
Mm-hmm.
Sound familiar?
It does sound familiar, but
I think it's different, though. I think it's different this year. I do have a feeling that it is different this year. I see the Rams as a much more gimmicky type of offense, and I think the Pats are hitting their stride
yes.
at this point. And, you know, we think back to last year and what happened. Remember, there's a lot of drama before the Super Bowl last year with the Patriots between Belichick and Brady's relationship,
Right.
whether Gronk was going to retire or not.
Sure.
That book that came out, the Alex Guerrero stuff that
Right.
came out, and that all happened in this, you know, the 2 weeks prior to the Super Bowl.
Right.
Have we heard anything about that kind of stuff this year?
No, I mean, the things we're hearing about now is, you know, Bill and Tom's relationship has never been better.
Right.
It's, you know, it's great, and, you know, Gronk is doing his Gronk thing, and Julian Edelman's healthy.
Yeah.
And, you know, we are going into the Super Bowl seeming like a really tight outfit. Everybody's loving each other. Everybody's feeling good. They're playing the best football they've been playing in months.
All year.
Yeah,
The last 4 games has been the best 4 games they've played all year.
absolutely. So yeah, I don't. There isn't anything that's really, you know, damaging or denting the armor of the Patriots right now.
How about Goff versus Brady?
Ah,
There's another young versus old.
that is. So you know, Goff's 24, and we know that Tom is 41.
Mm-hmm.
So it's. I mean, I can't even remember when I was 24, Mike. But 24
I can't
and
remember when I
play-
was 41 either.
24 playing in the biggest stage of your life.
Yep.
You're going into the Super Bowl against the greatest quarterback of all time, and possibly even the greatest coach of all time.
Who won his first Super Bowl when he was 24? Is it full circle? Are we seeing that because it's the Rams or are the Pats it's just another, you know, spot on their record and they're just going to keep going?
I think it's Patriots. It's a spot on their record, and they're
so,
just
too.
going to keep going.
I think so too.
You're right, because it was 17 years ago, right?
Yeah.
You know, 2001.
Against the Rams.
Yep.
Brady was 24. I mean, Belichick was a second-year coach of the Patriots. He had coached Cleveland before.
Sure.
The Rams had just won the Super Bowl the previous year.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to be a little bit of full circle. The Pats seem to be still built for the long term, even though they have a 41-year-old quarterback.
Right.
And a lot of the stuff that I was reading about this week with the Rams is that most of their defenses are going to be free agents at the end of the year. They can't afford them anyway.
Sure.
So it's the more pressures on the Rams this year.
This is it.
To do it.
Yeah.
Because
If they're going to win it, they've got to win it this
Yeah.
year.
Which you find interesting.
Yeah. Just talking about Jared Goff. I mean, just from the football point of view, it's kind of cool. You know, we know that quarterbacks call audibles,
Yep.
and we were familiar with like Peyton Manning. His thing was Omaha that he would come up, and Tom Brady will often use Michigan. You know.
Yep.
I really like that Goff. I mean, I know it's just all in fun, but he'll use different audibles such as Elvis and Ric Flair, Halle Berry.
Yep.
He'll even do Macho Man. So it's just like it's kind of it adds a little spice and excitement to football. I mean, you expect to hear the
I think that originated from the Patriots, though, because
Yeah.
there was a stretch that Brady used to troll the other team with
Yeah.
his audibles. Because remember, there was
I
a,
do
Rex, there
remember
was a
that.
Rex Ryan
Yeah.
audible.
Yes, of course.
And there was, I want to say there was one for Indianapolis.
Yeah. The
when
Rex
they-
Ryan was a guaranteed touchdown.
Is that,
Yeah, that was the audible. But
so I do think I agree with you. It's a lot of fun to hear
Yeah.
those names come out, and it's got to be fun for the people that are the Halle Berrys of the world that hearing their
Sure.
name come out on audible, and then
Yeah.
they say, "Well, I hope the play works."
yeah, exactly.
So-
Yeah, so that's that's kind of fun, and I think that's the young Jared Goff, and I think he I mean obviously he's enjoying himself with the Rams, and he's playing great football. So it's nice to see that young excitement.
Yep, it's gonna be a lot of fun. But this is not the first time that we've gone through this.
No,
This is the 9th Super Bowl
Ninth.
since 2001.
it's amazing.
I mean, you almost got to pinch yourself a little bit, just as a Pats fan.
Yeah.
Our parents didn't get to see this.
No. No.
If you have relatives that live in other cities,
Yeah.
and there's a reason why there's so much hatred towards the Patriots because they're so successful.
Uh-huh.
And they're on top, and they've been on top for a long time. And I think it's similar to when the Cowboys were on top for a long time, America's team. But
Yeah.
you like to root against them. You like to see them
do.
fail.
The 49ers had their dynasty.
Yep.
Yeah.
I like to see the maps of who's rooting for what state's rooting for what team.
yeah.
And it's the whole United States, except for the New England states, are rooting for Los Angeles,
Yeah.
and the New England states are
Yeah.
rooting for, obviously, the Patriots.
Yeah, and New Orleans is not. New Orleans isn't room
That's
for
right.
anybody.
That's right.
Yeah. Poor New Orleans. Did you see? Speaking, I know it's the Patriots Super Bowl preview, but did you see the New Orleans coach?
See the shirt that he had
Yeah,
on?
yeah. That made me feel good.
Yep.
So.
That was kind of surprising, actually, that he had that.
Yeah.
I was. We'll see if there's going to be a fine
Yeah.
that comes from that.
I'm sure. Have we heard from the commissioner at all?
He spoke yesterday,
Yes.
and there was hope that he was going to sympathize with New Orleans and just kind of reach out to them a little bit, and he didn't do that. He just basically said it's human error, and that's part of the game.
Yep.
But he also said that he had talked to the New Orleans players, and they have yet to find the New Orleans player that he talked to.
He certainly
So-
didn't talk to Sean Payton.
No,
so.
do you remember when during the Deflategate stuff, it wasn't really safe for Goodell to come to
Yes.
Foxborough for about a couple of
Yeah,
years?
exactly.
I'd
Yeah.
stay away from New Orleans for a little
Yes,
while.
Yeah, not allowed down there.
No, I don't know when the next Super Bowl is going to be, but hopefully not in New Orleans.
Right.
So the Patriots opened up as underdogs in this thing, which was hard to believe.
It is hard to believe.
And they were soon favorites because all the money went to the Patriots.
Yeah.
So do you believe that the bettors know something? Or is Vegas going to make a lot of money this time?
I think Vegas is usually in position to make a lot of money. So I think I was shocked to see that the Patriots were considered underdogs, especially how they've been playing in the playoffs.
Yep.
And I'm not overwhelmed. Dare I say, I am a bit underwhelmed with the Rams. And there's something about the Rams. I'm not frightened by the Rams.
I'm nervous about two things with the Rams. If Todd Gurley's healthy,
Yep,
he is one of the best running backs in the league.
absolutely.
And we've talked about the Patriots, and what is the Patriots' weakness on offense? It's when they have rushers that come up the middle.
Yep.
And they have two big ones.
Yeah.
Between Sue and Donald.
Yeah,
And if they can't contain them, it might be a long day for Tom.
I agree.
So
So let's talk a little bit about Gurley. So he got 5 touches right in the NFC Championship game. The knee. I think the knee's an issue. They're not talking. They don't talk a lot about it, obviously, leading up to it. So I don't know if I don't know if we're going to see if he's going to get a lot of touches in the Super Bowl. I agree with you, though. He's probably one of the best running backs in the game.
well, you've hurt your knee before. It takes, sometimes it takes a lot more than 2 weeks to get that feeling right.
Right.
And he's been hurt, really since I want to say week 12, week 13
Sure.
of the season that you heard about his knee issues.
Yeah.
C.J. Anderson doesn't scare me that much.
No.
I
No,
think-
he's not a bad back.
No, he's not a bad
Yeah,
back, but
he's not Gurley.
big backs, the Pats of the Jerome Bettises of the world, they've always been able to stop those guys.
Sure.
And I think that they're going to have a plan for that. Gurley's able to bounce that to the outside. He's a big back that can, has a little bit of speed. But if his knee's hurting him,
Yeah.
then he might not have that ability. And the fact that he only went 5 touches in the last game
Right.
and wasn't upset about it, he was just on the sidelines.
Right.
He knew he couldn't really do it.
Sure.
It's going to be interesting to see what the 2 weeks leads up to. I haven't checked out the injury reports. I don't know if he's practicing or not.
Yeah, I haven't seen. I haven't
so-
seen. But you were talking about Sue, and you were talking obviously about Aaron Donald. Donald has the ability to take over a game, and you're right. I guess that is something to be concerned with. The offensive line for New England has been playing exceptionally well, and we don't. I don't think we always give. It's like any football fan, right? You don't give a lot of credit to the offensive line.
They've got a lot of credit this week.
Absolutely
Yeah.
have gotten a lot of credit, but you don't hear the typical fan, praising the offensive line. It's usually that you hear about Tom Brady, Julian Edelman, right? You hear Gronk, but they have played exceptionally well, and I think part of it is obviously Dante Scarnecchia.
Who's coming back next year? Did you catch that?
Yes, I
71 years old, he's coming back.
It's phenomenal,
Yep.
and the magic that he works and the communication that he has with those players and that they have with each other is absolutely amazing.
But I think also, though, the success of that offensive line has to do with the type of offense they're running.
Sure.
They've gone back to that short, quick passing game, the
Yep.
running game, the short, quick stuff. You don't see much going down the field at all now.
No. And you see, and
so,
it's old school power football as well.
So-
I mean, the line blocking is pretty real simple.
So if they can't get to Brady within 2 seconds,
Yep.
they're not getting to Brady. He has been hit one time, I believe, in the playoffs.
Right.
He's been hit one time, no sacks,
Right.
but he's been knocked down one time. That's pretty good for a 41-year-old to
Yeah.
not be on the ground because he's probably feeling
he's
a lot
getting,
younger.
Yeah, he's getting the ball off in like 2.5 seconds.
Right. And they're running that, like I said, that short offense with a lot of crosses, a lot of short stuff, a lot of screens coming out of the backfield.
Sure.
Not a ton of misdirection. Not doing that. It's almost simplistic what they're doing right now. Like you said, power football.
Yeah.
And the play action pass is there for them. They don't have the deep threat. I guess Dorsett is a little bit of deep threat, and he caught one deep in the Kansas City game. But they don't have that Josh Gordon, and I think it's helping them that they don't have Josh Gordon. I think they're a more controlled offense. They're holding on the ball. They're having those 7 and 8 minute drives.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Which is
that's
it's
just key, and that's going to win you the
it's
game.
great to see.
Yeah, but you're right because Brady doesn't have a lot of receivers to check down to. It's boom boom. He's got to release it.
Yep.
Which is obviously great for New England.
So what do you see as the game plan for the Pats?
Well,
Let's start offensively. What are the Pats going to have to do offensively to work the ball down the field?
Yeah, so they're going to have to continue doing what they've been doing. I mean, you kind of mentioned it already. We're not going to be throwing the ball deep. They're going to be doing probably more running than passing, and the passes are going to be 5, 7, 8 yard passes. I think Edelman is going to be huge this game. I mean, he's huge every game, right? But you saw all the third downs and the plays that he made in the AFC Championship game, which it blew me away. You knew who was going to get the ball. You knew exactly what route he was going to run, and you still couldn't stop him.
Nope.
And then Gronk gets back in the mix as well with his catches. I mean, we've already talked about his blocking before, but I think we're going to see those sustained long drives. It hasn't changed. I mean, we saw it in the championship game. We saw it the week before. They are going out and holding the ball 5, 6, 7 minutes.
I think the difference from what we've seen, both San Diego and Kansas City bring pressure.
Yeah.
But the difference with Los Angeles is that their secondary is much better. They have Talib, who is
Sure.
a big game player, and they have
Yeah.
Marcus Peters, who's a big game player.
Right.
That's going to change things a little bit for the Patriots, and I think that's going to do is going to bring Gronk more into the mix because they don't have the linebackers.
Right.
And if they take Talib and put him on Gronk, which is possible,
It is.
then that's going to leave Edelman to
Yeah.
do a lot of damage.
Yeah.
And I also think it's going to be a big Chris Hogan, Philip Dorsett type game. I see those guys doing a lot. I see all 4 backs doing
Yeah.
a lot. It was in the Kansas City game, and I don't know how much we talked about it last week, but it was Michelle and James White for 3 quarters, and then all of a sudden Burkhead
Here
comes in the fourth quarter.
Rex Burkhead comes in.
And then he does the overtime in the fourth quarter, and
Yeah.
it was like, just flip a switch. Let's go to this guy now. He's got fresh legs.
Yep.
So I think it's going to be similar, and like you said, they're going to keep doing what they're doing because it's been so successful.
Right.
And I also think that it's almost matchup proof what they're doing. If those guys come up the middle, they can spray the balls to the outside.
Yeah.
If those guys come to the outside, look
Yeah,
out for the
the
middle.
middle, yeah.
So how about defensively?
Well, we've talked about before with Belichick being able to set the edge with his ends. The exotic. You were talking a little bit about the exotic kind of game plan for Los Angeles. I don't think that is going to impact the Patriots because of their defensive backs and the coverage that they play. I think they play a pretty sound. They'll sometimes go zone. You don't see lots of man coverage.
Yep.
So I think it's going to be challenging for Los Angeles because some of the teams that they've played in the past have gone man coverage, which allows Goff to have more success.
Yeah.
The one of the other things that I think is important is they'll show man, but they're really not playing man. They're playing zone.
And that's what I think.
Yeah.
That amoeba that
Yes.
they like to do,
Yeah.
and everybody's standing up and walking around the line.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see that all game.
Yeah.
Because reading about Los Angeles is McVay he is waiting until 15 seconds, the last minute, to audible. He's running the audibles.
Yes.
And I don't think that the Pats are going to show the defense that they're in until after 15 seconds.
Right. Yeah.
Which is going to be interesting. It was something that I read this week with Belichick. He was talking about his defense and that how far they have come this year, and that as they've come so far, he's been able to put in more and more stuff that he hasn't been able to do for the past few years.
Right.
And so, you know, that when he gets exotic, back in 03, 04,
Yeah.
it was so much fun to watch that defense because they were doing such different things that we hadn't seen before. I think we're going to see that on Sunday. I think that defense is going to be doing a lot of different things. I'm looking forward to seeing the amoeba. I'm looking forward to see how Goff deals with that.
Right.
To see which way the rush is coming. Even if they're going to rush, I think there's going to be times. I remember when they played Manning back in it was like an 04. Remember they rushed one.
Yeah.
They dropped everybody else back.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so Indianapolis had all these blockers in there, and there was just one guy, and there was just so many guys in the backfield, and so it'll be interesting.
Yeah, because McVay's going to. I mean, I think we're going to see. I mean, Los Angeles is going to be snapping the ball with 2-3 seconds left to go on the play clock for him to be able to adjust, and that's going to put a lot of pressure on Goff to be able to get, to be able to communicate and figure out what he's going to do.
Yeah, so it's going to be a game of adjustments, and you like to think that the Pats are going to be better at the adjustments.
Yeah,
but I think McVay is I think he's legit.
Oh yeah,
I think he knows his stuff. I think he's legit. It's going to be tough.
He's legit if Bill's been texting him.
That's true.
He sees a little something in this guy.
Or maybe Bill's been rope-a-dope and sending him different stuff that.
Try this out. Yeah.
So there's some typical storylines at the end of a Super Bowl. Who's going to be back and so on. Brady he says he's coming back. A 0% chance that he's going to retire. He's coming back. So that's done. So that's good. Bill. It all seems like Bill's coming back because he was talking about, when does he start next year? He says Monday.
Yep.
So it looks like he's coming back.
Yeah.
I think the big question mark is Gronk.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's not much of a question mark.
I don't know if it's a question mark. I mean, he's got his brother now, talking for him. He always has family speaking on his behalf. But I think he's done.
I think so too.
Yeah. I mean, I think his body is beat up, and I think he is ready to move on to other things, whatever those other things are. But I don't think his body could sustain another NFL season. He's 29, which is right.
He's only 29. I thought
29. I think he's 29.
I thought he was like 31.
I don't know. We'll have to check that. We'll have to get our sources to check that. I thought he was 29. But either way, 29 or 31, he's significantly older than.
You're right. He has been
for an NFL player.
A lot of back injuries. Yeah. You had the arm break. You've had knee things. And he lumbers.
Yes.
He lumbers out there. I almost want to see him retire for the Patriots' sake, because it's going to open up some cap room.
Yep.
And they need to transition a little bit into another weapon.
Right.
I see this. I don't know, for some reason. I don't know why. I feel this is similar to 06 to 07. That remember 06 they lost in the AFC Championship game. And then they needed more offense, and so they just, went out and got Moss and Welker and everybody.
Right.
And
our sources, Mike, told us that Gronk is 29.
29?
29. Okay, that's. So these are sorry, I interrupted, but 29. That's really young. But I guess in NFL years, it's not that young. But he's still a young guy, so he's got a bright future.
He does.
Yeah, he's not going to.
He's young. I'm afraid that he's going to stick around and then just kind of take up the salary cap room, and Brady becomes a crutch for Brady.
Sure.
Where I'd like to see him. Looks like Brady's going to be around for a few more years, and so develop somebody else.
Right.
In there.
I agree with you.
I think it would be better for the Pats in the long run.
Yeah.
So we also going to say goodbye to the defensive coordinator.
We are. So, Brian Flores. I mean, I know they can't talk about it, but he's going to become the head coach at Miami.
Does that scare you at all?
How is Matt Patricia's season this year?
Exactly.
So no, it doesn't really scare me. I think he's obviously a phenomenal coach. Anybody working under on Bill is going to be great, but no, it's Miami. It does not scare me.
The coaching tree for Belichick defensively has not been the greatest thing.
Right.
Because even though these guys have gone to other positions, they haven't had a lot of success because it's Bill's defense.
Yep.
And I think there's a reason why he doesn't name these guys defensive coordinators.
Yeah.
Especially the first couple of years, because it's his defense.
Sure.
And their brought in to run his defense. And,
Mm-hmm.
you know, Bill's, in one of these interviews this week, he says, no, I have input into the calls. If I don't
Right.
like a call, I'll say I don't like a call. And so, you know, ultimately it's his decision on what stuff they run.
Right.
Obviously the coordinators have a lot of input, but it's Bill's defense. Offensively, those guys scare me a little bit more when they leave,
Yeah.
when McDaniels leaves and so on. The biggest thing that scares me with Flores leaving is who he takes with him,
Right.
because you don't want to have the cupboard be completely bare of coaches.
Right.
So,
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see who he brings with him. Just back up a little bit. I know we said that, you know, we know that Brady's not retiring. He's made that clear. What do you see for the future? He's going to retire at some point. I mean, who is the quarterback in our organization now? Is the quarterback in college? You know, with Brady, is the quarterback even born? I mean, and who knows, right? But
I think the quarterback is in college.
Yeah.
I see him potentially being drafted this year, sitting 2 years under Brady, and then maybe Brady says enough. And I see this one being different than Garoppolo, because the word was that Brady and Garoppolo did not get along great.
Yeah.
You know, Brady wasn't very helpful to him, but he was helpful to Jacoby Brissett.
sure.
I see the different with this one is that if there's an agreement that Brady's going to be playing, you know, 2 more years or 3 more years or whatever,
Yeah.
he will give this guy everything he needs. Kyler Murray is the name that I've heard, but I don't know if they want a short quarterback. So,
Right.
looks like we're running out of time, Charlie. So
yeah.
We probably should get to our picks.
Okay.
You
I want you to go first.
You want me to go first?
Yeah.
Well, I've been saying all week Pats by a million, but like you said earlier, a million's a stretch.
Yeah.
I think this is going to be the one that the Pats. We haven't had a Super Bowl where they comfortably win.
Right.
I mean, we're so spoiled; it's kind of
Yeah.
crazy. But I think this might be the one. I think this might be the one that we're celebrating. You know, at the beginning of the fourth quarter,
Okay.
when they're up by 4. So I'm going to say 42-14.
All right, 42-14. Okay. I obviously I'm optimistic the Patriots are going to win the Super Bowl. And I don't know if I'm ready for a blowout, because I mean I'm ready for a blowout, but I don't know if the Patriots and Rams are going to give us a blowout. So I'm going to say the Patriots are going to win by 4 points. And I don't know why I've been thinking about this all day. And this is a weird score. I'm going to go 27-23, New
Okay.
England. 27-23, New England.
So 42-14 and 27-23. I'll be happy either one.
Oh yeah, as long as they get a win, I don't care if they win by 1 or a million.
Your MVP? It's got to be a Pat because we're both picking him.
Yeah, it has to be a Patriot. I can't give the MVP to the entire offensive line.
Nope.
So I'm actually going to give the MVP to Julian Edelman. Edelman's going to be the MVP. He's going to have a huge game, and the Patriots are going to win.
Well, if Edelman has a good game, then Brady had a good game,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't. If the Pats win, I don't see any way they do win without Brady having a good game.
Of course.
So I'm going to say MVP is going to be Brady.
Brady,
For
okay.
his 4th time.
Do the Pats rush for over 100 yards?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they will just keep running and running until they get to 100 yards. I think that's their offense, and I don't see Los Angeles having a real big plan of stopping that run.
Right.
You know, I think that because if they load that box, Brady's going to pick them apart.
I agree.
Because they're going to have to play in a zone, and he's going to pick them apart.
I agree.
So
Well, our Super Bowl preview, our special, this has been fun, Mike.
it has
Had
been
a really
it
good
was-
time.
We could keep talking too. So,
Absolutely.
Do you have anything else, Charlie?
I don't, Mike. Do you have anything else, Mike?
No, I don't. So thank you for watching Mike and the Hoss Super Bowl preview show on Wolfeboro Community Television. You can tweet your questions to @Mike and the Hoss on Twitter. And so have a good night and
Go
Go
Knights
Knights.
and go Patriots.
very good.
Good night.